Welcome to the Smoke Learning channel. In part 5 of this video series, we'll add a few distortions to our background, as well as other lens characteristics to add to the effect. Since this scope is creating a telescopic effect, the lens needs to have a small amount of distortion to enhance the look. In the action schematic, double-click on the image node for our target subject. Under the Image tab Controls, click the Lens Distort menu. Set the correction mode to distortion. Since you have creative flexibility, you can distort the lens however you like. I'll just set the magnitude to 10. This is slightly in line with a telephoto lens. Please feel free to play with the settings for the effect you want. Now, when it comes to other lens characteristics, we are going to use the Action Lens Flare in a slightly unusual way. Switch to the Action node bin. Double-click on the Light node to add it into the scene. To the left of the Light node is the Lens Flare node. Double-click on this to also add it to the scene. Since the Light node was already selected, the Lens Flare automatically attaches itself to that node. Now, I don't want all these light textures, so let's delete them. Go through them one at a time and press Delete. Next, double-click on the Light node to see its object menu. Turn off Active and Shading. So this looks very strange at first, but you can completely customize the lens flare. Select the Border Effects node in the Action schematic. Go to the Action bin and switch to the Relighting tab. Drag out the lens texture into the Action schematic. This lens texture can create blemishes reflecting light into the lens. Double-click on the lens texture to see the options. In the Basics 1 menu, increase the overall brightness to 300% for now. Now, this lens texture is procedurally generated, so you can completely customize it to your liking. So switch to the first pattern menu. I'll add some scratches as well as adjust the variance. For a bit more randomness, I'll also adjust the scratches orientation and variance. There are even more options when going to the second pattern menu. Add a few speckles and adjust the variance to your liking. So that looks pretty good, but we need to tone down the effect. Switch back to the Basics menu and set the overall brightness to 65%. So if you scrub the time bar, you can see how the lens texture is adding a slight grittiness to the scope. To finish this section off, scrub to the very last frame in the composite. You will notice how the crosshairs sit on top of the scope instead of disappearing when it's supposed to be out of sight. So there is a layering issue. Now, this composition does not need to be a fully fledged 3D composite. Go to the Node's Preferences menu and under the Rendering tab, turn the Z buffer off. This means that even though we are working in a 3D compositor, you can order the layers using the Priority Editor. Double-click on any axis to bring up the Object menu. The Priority Editor button only becomes active when accessing either the Media or Object menu. Switch to the Priority Editor. This is basically like a simple layer editor when Z buffer is off. You can see that the 3 crosshair objects are above everything else. So we need to move them under the scope layers. Hold Command and multi-select the 3 layers. Now hold Control Command and drag the 3 layers under the scope layers. So now you have learned how to reorder layers when Z buffer is off in the Node Preferences menu. Click the Priority Editor button to return to the other action menus. In the next video, we'll switch our scope over to night vision mode. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the Smoke Learning channel for future videos.